So what does it mean to actually wear a CEO hat? When you and I start out in business, we're doing so many different roles in the business itself. And so we're wearing lots and lots of different hats, whether that be the marketer, the salesperson, the tutor, the finance person, the tech person. I can go on, am I right? So, because we're doing all of these different hats, or wearing all of these different hats, should I say, it means that these roles can really start to blend and mold into each other. And so we can get really deep into the business that it can often be quite hard for us to pull ourselves out of it and look at it from the perspective of a CEO. Now, to me, what a CEO does is somebody who takes leadership of the business and makes those strategic and executive decisions in the direction of the business. Now, the reason why this is important is because without the CEO hat that you're wearing, you might get stuck in actually doing the work without really having clarity in which direction of the business you're headed in. And so you don't want to look back in 3 years and see a business that you've created that you don't like because you haven't been really thinking about that strategy and that direction. It's kind of just grown and morphed into its own thing, which is a story that I have to give you another time because I've experienced that myself. But if I give you a very quick example of how I actually take myself out of the business and operate on that CEO level on a day-to-day basis, and yes, I do it on a day-to-day basis, I actually slot out 1 hour every single morning where I focus on the leadership side of things. And for me, on a day-to-day basis, it can look different. Some days it may be thinking about the strategy and making the hard decisions to decide which direction we're going to be heading, what things we need to cut out of the business, what we need to be focusing on, and how we can do better in order to get to the goals that we want. In other days, it may be more of the soft skills. So focusing on my leadership abilities so that I can actually direct my team. And that might be doing coaching. It may be reading. It may be reflecting on how I've gone over the past month and thinking about how I can do better in the next month. So now that you have an idea on what it means to be a CEO, let's dive into the 3 reasons why it is so important for you to be thinking about wearing this hat. The first reason is that when people start a business, they think about decisions from their own limited perspective. And this is actually what holds them back. Truly focusing on what's the smartest next move in your business involves taking an objective standpoint and separating your business from yourself. So I'm going to share with you a recent example I saw in one of my Tutor Boss clients, Marina. Marina has basically started her tutoring business. She wants to work with schools and be able to start tutoring the students within those schools. So in order for her to do that, she needs to firstly start talking to principals in order to build that relationship and get that sale. And so because Marina was wearing all these different hats in the business, it actually obscured for her what was going to be that next step that would have the biggest impact on actually growing her business. What she did was she actually spent hours on creating this beautiful PowerPoint that had all these details. She focused on how she'd actually present to the principal. But then at the very end, did she have a principal to present that to? No. And so when I was in my coaching call with her, the observation that I had here was that she had actually reverse engineered her priorities. Instead, what she should have done was actually start jumping on calls, start talking to receptionists at the schools, start talking to the principals and trying to get an appointment with those principals. Because that way, once she's actually gotten a principal in an appointment with her, then it makes sense for her to go to the next step and actually create that PowerPoint because she actually has someone to serve that to. Whereas in the former scenario, what basically happened was she spent all this time, and time is definitely important to us as business owners, right? Because we only have so much time to give. Although she'd created this beautiful PowerPoint, she still extended that time because she still needed to go and actually call up those schools. So it really dried out that process for her. And so had she actually taken that second to take a step out of her business and to view it from that objective standpoint of what decision am I going to make that's going to make the biggest impact on my business, what's going to be most strategic here, she would have noticed that actually getting those calls and appointments first would have been the wisest choice. And I actually talk more about wearing the CEO hat in my free masterclass, which is 90 minutes long, by the way, called the 4-Step Framework to Building a 6-Figure Tutoring Business. And there I talk about the top 3 mistakes tutors make when growing their tutoring businesses, how how you can stop doing these mistakes and what you should actually be doing instead. I've personalized the masterclass to be specifically relevant to whatever stage you're at in your business, so that whether you're looking for more pointers about how to kickstart your business journey or you're ready to take your business to the next level, the masterclass will help take the heavy lifting out of that process. So I'll make sure to link that for you so you can go and have a watch. Reason 2, how the CEO mindset can help you go beyond your comfort zone. It's really important that as business owners, we need to differentiate what we want to do versus what we should be doing. So if we go back to Marina's example, what she should have been doing was getting those phone calls done and actually just getting out there. But because she was uncomfortable with doing so, because she wasn't sure of the unknown, because she was fearful that she would get rejected, what she then ended up doing and what she wanted to do instead was actually just do what she could control, and that was the PowerPoint itself. And whilst it was an amazing PowerPoint that is still going to serve her well, if she had actually questioned herself, actually, why am I doing this? Is it because I'm feeling uncomfortable about something? Then it may have helped push her in the direction where it would have sped up her journey as a business owner and actually grow her business sooner. Often the most important tasks are the ones that make us uncomfortable. They might also be the ones that are most dull, you know? I mean, even for myself, I would much rather do a PowerPoint than to actually make those phone calls, but you might be the opposite. And so because the vast majority of businesses don't become successes overnight, what I've found in my experience is that preparing for the long-term game and seeking fulfillment through delayed gratification is the best way to shield yourself from getting short-term tunnel vision and misusing your time. Reason 3, why the CEO version of yourself is most equipped to make tough but necessary decisions. By stepping into the CEO mindset, you have to make the tougher but often smarter decisions. And this is what would have happened in Marina's case. At the end of the day, no one will care about your business more than you will as its owner. In my experience, I've been faced with difficult decisions at different stages over the years, and I've had to constantly remember that the right decision isn't always the easy one. Part of making the right moves in business involves minimizing your subjective opinion and really looking at things from the perspective of what's best for my business in this situation. The bottom line is that you'll be best placed to make the best decisions for your business if you're able to take that subjectivity out and observe it from that CEO hat. Now, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you had, I'd love for you to drop down a comment for me below with the word CEO hat, just so that I know that you found this video helpful and you've watched all the way to the end, and I should be making more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!